Hello everyone, welcome to Dikshant classes. Good morning everybody. Today I am going to discuss about the validity and reliability in research, which is a very important concept in research. Next is features of research. Objectivity. Research must be objectives. Solution of a problem. Research must provide a solution of a problem. Empirical. Empirical means it is a research which is based on evidences. Demand accurate observation and description. The research must demand accurate observation and descriptions. Research can be both primary and secondary. Free from personal biases. Research must be free from personal biases. Research require expertise. The research is requiring the expertise, not from a unexperienced person. Credibility. Research must be credible. Research must be replicable. Research must be accurate. Must demand accuracy. Research is logical. Research is rigorous. Rigorous means which is fixed methods. Research is correlation and causation. Research is controlled. Reliability and validity. Cyclic in nature. Generality must be applied to the others concept if we get result from the one concept. Research must be a critical. Research must be a patient activity. Research is the task to discover and develop knowledge. First feature is the objectivity. Research should have a objectives and it must be answered what we are going to achieve through this research. And it should be unbiased, free from biases. And all the objectives are based on the research questions and specifically, not in a descriptive way. And setting up the required the formulations of a proper hypothesis, otherwise it is unreliable for and not valid for a research. And there is a lack of congruences between the research questions and the hypothesis. So they need to resolve the come out from these problems. The next concept is of difference between objectives and subjectives. Objectives are referred to the neutral statements which are completely true and which is unbiased and balanced. Subjective means it does not show the clear picture of or is just a person's outlooks or express of the opinions. Objective is based on the facts and observations, where the subjective is based on the assumptions, beliefs and opinions. Objective provide provable truth, where the subjective provide the subject relatives. Objective is verified, where the subjective is not verified. Reportings are the same objectives, but in the subjective it's vary to the great extent from a person to person and day to day. Decision making is required in the objectives, but in subjective no decision making is required. And objective used in the textbook and encyclopedias, where the subjective is required in blogged comments on social media and biographies. Next is solution of a problem. The next feature of research is solution. After deciding the objectives of the problem, then the researchers find the answers of the questions which is decided in the objectives. These are the my research questions, and try to find how the problem will be solved, and how will be the answered, what method data will be collected, how to analyze the data, and who the respondents, and how the data will be collected. And the research is directed towards the solution of problems in the field of education. It may be attempt to answer a question or to determine the relationship between two or more variables. Research involves the quest for answer to the unsolved problems. However, previous important studies are deliberately repeated, using the identical or using similar procedure with the different subjects at different settings and different time. The process is replications or the fusion of words, repetitions and duplications. Replication is always desirable to confirm or to raise questions about the conclusions of a previous study. Next is empirical. Empirical means the research which is based on evidences and which is based on observations and measurement of phenomena and directly experienced by the researchers. The data thus gathered may be compared against the theory or hypothesis, but the results are still based on the real experiences. The data gathered is all primary data. Also secondary data from a literature reviews may be come from the theoretical backgrounds. All the data research in the empirical research is primary data. At some extent secondary data used from the literature part. And you must have heard the quote, I will not believe it unless I see it. It is thing. Unless I will not see it, I will not believe it. It's a very famous quote of a researcher. And that word itself today, it is roots in Greek. It derived from the Greek word empirico, which means experienced. In today's world, empirical refers to the collection of data using evidences, and it is collected through the observations or experience used by using calibrated scientific instrument. All the above origins have one thing in the common, which is dependence of observations and experiments to collect data and test them to come up with the conclusion. Next is type of methodologies of empirical research. Empirical research can be conducted and can analyze using qualitative or quantitative method. Quantitative methods researched. Quantitative research methods are used to gather information through numerical data. Here the researcher uses numerical data, analytical data. It is used to quantify opinions, behaviors or the dependent variable. These are determined in a more structured way. Some of the commonly used methods are survey method, which is formed in the questionnaire, longitudinal study, which is study for a long time, or polls, just like in elections. Next is qualitative research, which is inductive also, but quantitative research is deductive. Qualitative research methods are used to gather non-numerical data, which is based on experiences, observations, interviews. It is used to find the meanings, opinions, or the underlying subject from its subject. These methods are unstructured or semi-structured. The sample size of the research is usually small, and it is convertible type to provide the more insight and in-depth information about the problems. Some of the most popular form of methods and focus groups, experiments, interviews, etc. And it is the post-positivism is qualitative, and where the quantitative is positivism methods. Next is empirical. Empirical methods and non-empirical method. Systematic observations as evidences And the non-empirical include reflection, personal, observation, and authority. Where evidences include quantitative survey, qualitative interviews, where a reflection includes systematic review, meta-analysis, critical studies, editor's introductions. That's all today's class. If you have any doubt, then you should comment it. I will surely make video on this. Thank you so much for listening carefully. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends and who actually need the ones. And this video is very useful. The students who are pursuing the master's degree as a research methodology subject and prepare for the UGC NET exam, and it's a very useful videos to give the background about the research. Thank you so much for listening carefully. Thank you.